And like I said, if fans like to like look in the future and say, hey, I really like that 2031 draft pick because maybe that seventh grader is going to be really good and we're going to draft him and one day he's going to be a player. Like, you ain't going to like the Phoenix Suns because we're going to say draft picks are to get great players. And we, by the way, narrative out there, and I know, Gerald, you got it right when I read what you wrote today. 5 of the next 8 years, we have a first-round draft pick. I know that's not like a cool thing to say out there because people like to, say their narratives. We have no draft picks, but we have 5 of the next 8 years, and we can trade to them next month if we want. And like I said, if fans like to like look in the future and say, hey, I really like that 2031 draft pick because maybe that.
Ladies and gentlemen,
that is who is owning and managing the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah. Yep.
You got to be kidding me.
Well, if you really want to have an answer as to why they lost in the first round, watch that video.
And just that alone, and don't get me wrong, I think Matashie was actually a pretty cool dude, but just that alone pisses me off because what does that tell you? And that is literally telling you that they don't care about draft picks.
Not at all.
No,
not at all.
They don't care about drafting. They don't care about developing. That's the beautiful part. That's the fun part about sports.
Yeah.
But no, but according to Matt, we're going to trade all of our draft picks all the way up till 2050 to constantly trade for star players. Well, I hope we're excited when James Harden comes this year because it's going to be so much fun.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I actually, before Z played that, I did not see that video. Yep. So first reaction to that video, I mean, just seeing him ramble is funny. Just seeing him go on and ramble's funny. He's trying to make sense out of their mistakes.
Right.
Let me put it that way. He's trying to make sense out of their mistakes, out of their mishap, out of their mismanagement. Yep. And it's almost like he's trying to give off like this has been their plan the whole time. And it hasn't been. Clearly them losing the first round wasn't part of their plan. But the fact of like the Durant and then the Bradley Beal, all this stuff has to me been more of a last minute type thing. Like to me, when they traded for Bradley Beal last summer, you're telling me when they got Durant that he was already a part of hopeful future plans for them going into that free agency? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. They felt like they were in a position of, I don't necessarily want to say despair at that time, but a position of really needing to win, new ownership, wanting to make a big move, wanting to make a big splash, trying to make something big happen. Right. And that's exactly what happens when you have a situation like that, when you have somebody not coming from a basketball background and it ends up biting you in the ass.
Yep.
And that's exactly what this whole Bradley Beal situation has done. He has come out and said that they're not breaking up their three, that they're going to make some necessary moves and try to fill out the team the best they can. No crap. No crap. You're going to try to fill out the team. The best team.
Pour me 8 shots tonight then. My God. I mean, that is
right on me.
Yeah, yes, right. That is no way of developing your basketball team. And if look, we're going to talk about the playoffs here in a minute. All the teams in the playoffs right now, I can name probably on all 8 fingers: Pacers, Celtics. Why am I blanking out the other teams? Cavs, Cleveland, and who the hell is Indiana playing? Knicks.
Yeah.
Nuggets, Timberwolves, Thunder, and the Mavericks. All 8 of those teams. Of course, there's a couple veterans mixed in there, but all 8 of those teams have drafted and developed all of their talent. We're not going to go individual. Oh, well, the Knicks. Well, they signed Jalen Brunson and they traded for Josh Hart. Oh, yeah, but at the same time, like you can say those guys were unproven before they came along.
Yeah.
So, like, you look at every single team, and this shouldn't even be an explanation. And you look at every single team in the playoffs right now. They have all drafted and developed their talent, and it has taken a lot of time for many of those teams, but they're here. but they're here and they're all in the middle of it. So I mean, just a disgusting interview.
Yeah. It's definitely a miserable interview, Z. Like, again, that right there is an owner not owning up to their mistakes and their mismanagement and not having a spine, trying to pretty much call us idiots that this is part of their plan.
Yep.
This is what they've had in store the entire time, trying to make sense out of this mess. That's exactly what they're doing. Rather than acknowledging it and acknowledging the fans, this is the direction you go. Because it's stubbornness and it's pride and it's ego.
Right. 100%. 100%. I mean, and I think if there's one thing it proves, there's no direction for the team. There's no direction to go. There's no way to trade these guys, and I think that's what he's probably talking about. Is there's no way to trade Beal. They're not going to trade Booker, so I guess we're going to deal with this for the next who knows how many years, and who knows how many years.
Yeah. It's
because go ahead.
If they are, and I've said this to you off video, if you keep Bradley Beal, ultimately, what's the money you can move? You sign Grayson Allen to a $70 million contract.
Yep.
Nurkic is really the only contract you can move right now. And though it will free up a little bit of money, not very much.
Yeah.
So if you're going to move off Nurkic's contract to create a little bit of space to stretch out your roster, okay, but that's the only move you can make. So you might get a decent bench guy, probably going to have to get a mid point guard.
Very big.
Cheap rebounding center.
James Harden.
Yeah, James Harden.
Point guard. Don't care.
James Harden. Yeah.
Don't care. Not a point guard.
Z, how much of a disaster would that be if James Harden came here?
And my God. I mean, my God.
Yeah. That would be awful.
And the fact that fans will egg it on is just
There's definitely Suns fan out there that think it's a great idea.
You're going to continue pushing the future back.
Yeah.
By many years if you do it.
Yeah. So now you're going to want 4 people with the ball in their hands.
Oh, phenomenal.
You already got 3.
Oh, phenomenal.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's
great.
Perfect. How'd that work out for the Clippers?
Oh, that'd be perfect.
Yeah. To tell the Clippers how that worked out. So ideally, if the Suns are actually going to move a contract, you go get a cheap rebounding center, a mid point guard that can at least move the ball, a decent bench guy, and then you're going to have to fill out the rest of your bench probably with minimum contracts.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Well,
so it's a crappy spot they're in, but they did it to themselves.
Well, let's go ahead and transition out of the Phoenix Suns, because that's not what this conversation is going to be about.
Yeah.
I mean, and I feel like we have to talk about. I mean, we're not going to talk about this, but we got to bring it up, and we're going to play the video right here live for our audience to see, in case they didn't see it. I mean, this is literally a team that is just cursed. Is literally cursed. And is zoning out, probably watching his dog almost fall off the couch.
She's all right.
Chance at the net.
The Maple Leafs.
Labushkin, who has 10 hits in the game. Lindholm sends it in, and it's Pasternak scores! Series leader for David.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw they lost, Z. I saw they lost.
Dude, I mean, it's literally every single year with Toronto. They get taken out in the first round.
Yeah.
It's hockey, so it's never talked about. But my God.
Yeah.
My God.
Z, it's literally a reality. This is exactly what happens every year. It doesn't matter. You don't have to watch the NHL playoffs or not. Maple Leafs are going to lose in the first round.
Thoughts on Austin Matthews?
Well, Z, I think he sat out most of that series, didn't he?
Yeah, well, he did. He had an illness, apparently.
Yeah. Well, he's never get a championship. Not there.
He's not. No, he's
not there. Not there. Maybe he'll get a trade to Utah.
Yeah. Well, again, we're not going to talk about the NHL playoffs, but that was something big that happened last night. So I feel like it had to be shown.
Yep.
Or the NHL playoffs, sorry. But let's move on. NBA playoffs round 2. That's what this video is going to be about. We're not going to go over the first round matchups. You guys already know who won. We're moving on to round 2. And I think we'll start it off by talking about the Timberwolves and Nuggets. And then we can talk about this maybe while we show we can show Anthony Edwards highlights from last night because really, quite honestly, this guy is just becoming a star.
Yeah,
truly, he's truly becoming a star. And I'll kind of let you. I'm gonna mute that. I don't think we need that to be played. I'm gonna let you kind of talk about what you want while we let this play out.
All right, let's see it.
I mean, last night the guy was just unreal. I mean,
I just really took over the game.
So what's crazy with this Nuggets and Timberwolves matchup is their teams are like identical. Mm-hmm. Both big body centers, big body power forwards, big body guards. Literally, their teams are like an exact resemblance of each other. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, this might go to 7.
Yeah, I was gonna say I won't be surprised if this goes to 7, and or if one of these teams win the championship.
Well, that would honestly be, as much as the Minnesota Timberwolves have been honestly a joke. For how long? I'm going to say that they've been a joke since 2005, 2004.
Yep.
The fact that the Minnesota Timberwolves are possibly could be in a place of making a finals run is crazy.
Yeah.
And you would think at 20 years later, like if you're sitting back in like 2004 time, like when prime KG's there and everything else, if you're sitting at that time in 04 and you're like, man, I would think in 20 years Minnesota has to have something. Well, they do.
Yep.
And again, Z's point, they drafted Karl Towns in 2015, almost 10 years ago.
Yep.
And even though they drafted him to be a franchise piece, they still had a ton of struggle along that time. And then you go out and you get an Anthony Edwards and you go out and you trade for a Gobert and you go out and you spend some money for a Mike Conley, for a bench that's stretched out a little bit. You're looking at those results start to pay off for Minnesota. So good for them.
100%. And that's what I'm saying. The way they build their team is and kind of the way the Suns built their team all the way back when they went to the finals. It took a process of getting guys like Booker and Bridges and Ayton and Cam Johnson. And then you add Chris Paul and you add Jay Crowder, the appropriate veterans. They're not superstar players that need all this attention and need the ball.
Yeah.
The Timberwolves are perfectly built for not only to make a deep playoff run, but for the deep future.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a great thing to see. I think it's a great thing for the NBA to see them and OKC.
You know, there's fans out there that hate it. Oh, there's no Warriors anymore. There's no Lakers anymore. Right? You know, there's fans that hate that. You know, that one guy on Twitter from 3 years ago when he said the Suns and Bucks is the worst finals in NBA history because LeBron or Curry ain't in it.
Yep. Well, game 2 is tonight, I think. I think game 2 is tonight. No, I'm sorry, tomorrow. Game 2 is tomorrow. Minnesota won the first game. I'd probably expect Denver to win the second one, but probably when you guys will be seeing this, it might be before game 2. It might be just after game 2. So, who do you have winning this series?
Well, this is definitely going to be a great series. To be honest with you, I have not watched too much of the playoffs. I would just see, for the most part, who wins and everything. I've only watched a few games. Part of that is because I've been busy, as you can see, blank wall background, because I'm pretty much all settled into my new place now. So you guys will be getting a new background at some point.
Yep.
But apart from that being busy, another part from that, you guys, anybody that watches our videos knows my investment level, in the NBA. But usually during the playoffs, I try to watch most of the games because it is the playoffs at least. Like I had the Mavs and Clippers game on last night. But with this series, just getting back to it real quick, just adding a little context to things. This series could easily go to 7. Z made a great point that it's really an even matchup. Both lineups and rosters are built with a very similar type approach in a way on how both teams did things. It's hard to pass up on the Nuggets, but Z, I'm riding the Timberwolves train, dude. I'm riding the Timberwolves train. It's exciting what they're doing, and especially from an outsider fan nowadays, it's still exciting to see what they're doing. Like, this has been a franchise that hasn't had any success in so long. You have a guy in Anthony Edwards. This is where guys start to make a career, make a name for themselves, and he's on that way of doing that. And this is a strong Timberwolves team across the board. I honestly, Z, hope they beat Denver. I really do, because it's nice to see a team that actually has put in the work. Not saying Denver hasn't, but a team like Minnesota all these years trying to rebuild and rebuild and rebuild, and it finally paying off. So I'm going to ride the Timberwolves hot train. All Timberwolves in 7.
Listen, I would love to. I would love to go with, I want to go Minnesota, but I've so far I've had a perfect bracket on the West side.
Oh, I believe in Nikolai.
Yeah. And the guy's still the MVP, and he definitely doesn't look like it. But
he is though. I respect him. I appreciate his game.
I'm still gonna take Denver. I'm still gonna take Denver in the series. It hurts to say it because again, I'm a fan of a young, unproven team making a deep run, but they're literally dealing with not only the defending champions, but whichever term you want to use. I mean, Denver is still as legit as ever.
Sure. Oh, 100%.
And people are just going to forget that because Minnesota and OKC had great years, and Boston is the favorite in the East. So people are just kind of disregarding Denver.
Yeah.
They were disrespecting Denver by saying the Lakers are going to beat them in the first round. So, yeah, no, I think I could see it going 7. But I think I'm not. Yeah, it's one of those series where, the Timberwolves and Nuggets are just going to battle just to the end.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm gonna stick to my pick of the Nuggets going back to the finals, at least for now. I'm gonna take the Nuggets. I mean, I'm just gonna take that. Yeah, I'm gonna take the Nuggets.
That's respectable. Probably most people would. I'm just rooting for. Do we want to call them an underdog? I kind of want to say they are, because they're facing the defending champion.
Underdog. They're an underdog. Yeah.
So I'm rooting for the underdog here, and especially too, just because Minnesota's kind of a fun team, but I appreciate when there's a team like that is finally in that place they've worked hard to get to as a franchise, and they're having success with it. So,
yeah,
I hope they do. I hope they do. Oh man, I've never thought that I would be seeing Minnesota or rooting for Minnesota to be an NBA Finals run, just because of how used to it that we've been. How we've kind of been programmed to just them be in poverty. Let me just put it that way.
I mean, and
the thing that would make it even better, Z, for Minnesota, is if they brought their old logo back in their old court.
Well, the logo's horrific.
The logo's horrific. It's awful. If they brought back their old court and their old logo as their primary, that'd be amazing. Because that's one of the greatest courts in NBA history.
I mean, it's funny is Ed and I have this conversation all the time with each other about, I mean, just look at this. And I mean, if anybody thinks that this is a good logo, then not sure what to tell you. Look at that. And I mean, like, I can draw that.
Yeah. It's lazy.
Yeah.
It's lazy.
It's awful. It's
a lazy freaking logo. You have a basketball with the freaking wolf howling.
Yeah, hold on.
And the jerseys aren't any better.
No, the jerseys are even worse. But look at the old logo. You're telling me that one's not better.
That's fire.
So much better.
So much better. You got the trees, you have the different shades in the wolf's face.
Yep.
It looks mean.
Yeah, it looks mean. Well, so Ed and I are going to have differences there. He's going to take Wolves in 7. I'm going to take Nuggets in 7. let's transition over to the other battle in the West.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're just going to start it off with somebody again in the playoffs who's been unbelievable. And we've all known this guy's good, but I mean, really, are we talking about this good? And this was
this was a crazy play last night.
Yeah, this is perfect.
Yeah.
Well, obviously PJ Tucker's covering him, but he gets
PJ
fouled.
Tucker just got taken back to third grade.
Yeah, he gets fouled. He drills a 3, and that pretty much just dags the game in the series.
See you later.
Yeah, I mean, the Mavs are dangerous, man. The Mavs are dangerous.
Yeah,
and
but see again, other than like I'm not even count Luka because Luka's their homegrown guy. Kyrie's the only guy that they're going out and paying.
As I'm saying, we have this conversation about the Mavs every day where it's kind of a wait and see with them as long as they're role players, Daniel Gafford, and PJ Washington,
Josh Green, all those guys.
Green, and what's the guy's name? Derek Jones or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
As long as those guys are kind of performing, then they will probably win. Because Luka and Kyrie are going to go God mode every single game.
Yeah.
So, dude, I don't know. It's going to be a really, really good match. I'll say they're outmatched. They're definitely outmatched against OKC.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
But I appreciate that with the Mavericks. Like, could the Mavericks probably pull something else? Listen, I would hate to see Dallas go out and get a max superstar. I'm not saying that. If they could go pull somebody else to plug into their bench or plug into maybe being a guy on the wing, not a max player, not this superstar player, but somebody that's a decent caliber starter or caliber bench guy, like that would be ideal for them if they fall short this year. I think the duo of Kyrie and Luka, it's definitely exciting. When it happened, no, you obviously couldn't really tell how it was going to work out because both guys want the ball in their hand. But it's working out.
Oh, it's working out great. I mean, it's working.
Seems like they have a great relationship. Kyrie's having fun for once in his life, it seems like.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to see. I mean, the guy was definitely criticized for many different reasons years ago.
You're one of them.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't exactly. Well, we're not going to get into that. We're not going to get into that. But I mean, just this, let alone their game 6 stats that I'm trying to pull up and just zoning out.
Oh, sorry, I didn't even see it there. I was just looking at the screen.
Probably won't be able to see it. I didn't realize it was gonna be that small.
Click on it by picture. Can you click the picture? There you go.
So Kyrie, 30 points. What is this graphic?
Yeah, I don't
know. Kyrie, 30
is that
points.
A spray bottle for rebounds?
I don't know. What is that? A nickel? So you have 30 points from Kyrie, 6 rebounds. Then you come over to Luka, you have 28 points, 13 assists. So it's.
I think it's a dime. Like dime. Like.
Yeah. Whatever.
It was a dime.
Terrible
I don't know.
Graphic.
It doesn't freaking matter, but I know it is stupid.
So, and then there's the other side to it, right? You have the Thunder. You can't discredit the Thunder. Obviously, number 1 seed. Absolutely, just sweat the Pelicans under their feet. Shai.
How's Willie Green?
Yep. I was told this guy was the next Belichick, the next Phil Jackson, the next, and it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Guarantees fired after the end, once it's over.
So you can't just discredit the Thunder. Shai, I don't think Shai's gonna be MVP this year, but he certainly could be next year. And Chet has quickly turned into a star. And the role players.
Steve, why don't you give your thoughts on Chet when he first got drafted?
No, thanks. A stick. Stick. And I can't imagine how good the guy would be if he was a little bit more built.
Yeah.
But it works for him. It works for him. So who am I to say? And I were freaking sitting here on our chairs talking about him. So.
Well, that's exactly it. Well, I want to pull something else up too, Z, and I want your thoughts on this. This is the Shai Gilgeous-Alexander trade from the LA Clippers
Oh God.
all those years ago when the Clippers traded for Paul George.
Oh God.
I want you to look at this.
Because it wasn't just Shai, right? Didn't they get like multiple first-round picks?
Yep, and they got Danilo Gallinari.
Oh God. All right.
Look at
hold on.
that.
All right, let's go over this.
Break that down.
Right. So the Clippers received Paul George from OKC, and for that, the OKC Thunder received back Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who was unproven at the time, Neil Gallinari, who's absolutely ass, the 2022 first round pick, which I'm not sure who that resulted in, a 2024 first round pick, which was this year, so I'm not sure who that resulted. Or no, the draft hasn't happened yet, right? So we'll see what that results in. A 2026 first round pick, and then Miami's 2021 first round pick. Don't know where that came from. Lottery protected, right to swap picks, but God, dude. So they essentially, if I'm counting this right, they got 4 first round picks and an MVP caliber player.
Yes, for Paul George. I mean, Z, it's that was literally their way of obviously how they've built their team. And it was one of those things of OKC fans had to kind of trust the process. It was going to take a long time.
Yep.
But here you are. And last year they fell short. Had a decent year, but fell short, obviously. And now you're the 1 seed and you can possibly make a championship.
I'm asking this question straight off the bat. And I know it's super early to say it, but do you think this era of the Thunder could be better than the era of Durant, Westbrook, and Harden?
It's a good question. I'm going to say yes. The reason why I'm going to say yes is when we look at the Durant era, they made 1 finals. Didn't even win one.
Yep.
Made 1 finals. Lost in the second round of the playoffs, Western Conference Finals. So during the Durant, Harden, Westbrook era, 1 final appearance. Durant won an MVP. Harden won a 6-man, I believe. We're not counting after Durant and what Westbrook and the Thunder did, or when they brought in Chris Paul. Not talking about that. This version of the Thunder is deeper than what that version is across the board. This version of Thunder has an MVP in Gilgeous. Not saying he was better than Durant, but you still have an MVP. I don't know, Scott Brooks, I still think he was a good head coach for them, so I'm not going to say they have a better coach. But when you look at their bench, when you look at their landscape, Kendrick Perkins was their starting center.
Racist.
Not sure how he's on TV still, beyond us.
But when you Kendrick.
Yeah, that's it. So you have an MVP, you have a deeper bench, you have young talent, you have an all-star caliber upcoming center.
Yep.
You have probably better shooting on this team than what they had during that time. So with the landscape too of the NBA, now the NBA during that time in the West, I feel like the landscape in the Western Conference now is a little bit more tougher than what it was during that time. During 2012, 2011, I'm not, because they moved to Oklahoma City in 2009. So I'm going to say when they made the finals in 2011, from 2011 all the way to 2015, or we'll go 2016, all the way to 2016, this Thunder team can do more.
Right.
I think so. And that time frame in the NBA, the West wasn't as, how do I want to put it? Like, I'm not saying like it was a cakewalk during that time, because it wasn't. That wasn't until Durant went to the Warriors.
No, yeah, because I was going to say one of the years, I don't know if it was the year they went to the finals, but one of the greatest years ever the West has ever had, maybe ever, is when the Phoenix Suns, and by the way, this is before the play-in, which should even exist,
right?
Remember that year it was the Dragic, Gerald Green Phoenix Suns. They won 48 games that year, and they missed the playoffs.
Yeah,
48, and they got the 9 seed. What did
Yeah.
what did the 9 seed get this year?
Right. Yeah. So it's not saying that the West was a cakewalk during that time or anything, because it wasn't. The West became a cakewalk when Durant went to the Warriors.
Yeah. Which
That's when the
ruined
West
everything,
became a
by the way.
cakewalk.
Which ruined
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, absolutely did. And the East was a cakewalk as well during that time.
Yep.
So the West wasn't a cakewalk. Like it had some tough years. But when you look at the West this year, and probably future based, you have a lot of young, talented teams, and it's probably going to be kind of neck and neck for a little while. So, but I'm going to give the edge to this version of the Thunder Z.
So that brings up the next question. I guess I'll start off who I have this series because you went first last time. And I'm gonna stick on the. I'm gonna do it again, dude. I'm gonna take. I'm not gonna take the team who is young, flashy, and everyone loves to watch. I'm gonna stick on the Mavs train. I mean, obviously the Mavs are flashy to watch and young as well. But I'm gonna take the Mavs. I mean, I've been on the Mavs train for a while now. Luka's going to be MVP of the league. The duo of Kyrie and Luka, I think, is a better. I know it doesn't compare, but I think is a better duo than Shai and Chet right now. So I'm gonna take Mavs. I don't know how many games, but I'm gonna take the Mavs in this series. The Mavs have also been here before. The farthest they've gone is West Conference Finals, but I think they have a bit of a chip on their shoulder, and especially Luka. So I'm gonna take. I think it's gonna be a super close series, which is good for the league. But I don't know, dude. I'm gonna stick on the Mavs. The Mavs.
Yeah. I hope it's a good series. I think it will be. I don't think it's going to be as fun or entertaining as the Timberwolves series. I just look at the Thunder all around. They're young, as he said. They're inexperienced. Kyrie's won a championship. Luka's been in the playoffs almost every year of his career.
Yep.
But man, I like what the Thunder got on their bench. I like what the Thunder have in their front court. Even though they're young, Chet, Jalen Williams, you can shoot with Dort on the wing. Obviously, you have Predator out there, and then you got Gilgeous. I like a couple guys on their bench. I like Isaiah Joe coming off the bench. So you have a team, and the Thunder have good fans. I think ever since they've moved to OKC, they have had good fans, and I give them credit for that.
Do you think Seattle should have a franchise?
Huh?
So do you think Seattle should have a franchise again?
They never should have moved. They never should have moved. They should still be the Sonics.
Yep.
But I think they will come back. See, I give it a couple years, and I think they'll be back.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say the Thunder. This is going to be the second one Z and I disagree on. I'm going to give the Thunder the edge. I'm going to say Thunder in 6. I just think they're more stretched out. I think there's more there than just Luka, Kyrie, because as you kind of said too, like if the Mavericks role players are stepping up, yeah, but I just don't see that happening every game. I think OKC, there's more than just Chet and Shai, and I like that for this for them in this matchup. So we're going to go Thunder in 6.
So we disagree on the West.
Yes.
I mean, watch. We'll just go 1-1.
Yeah, I know.
We'll just go 1-1.
Yeah.
So let's know what you guys think of those West predictions. En's going to go Timberwolves, Thunder, West Conference Finals. I'm going Nuggets, Mavs, West Conference Finals.
Which one sounds more entertaining to you, Z?
And obviously Thunder and Timberwolves. Obviously, but that's not.
That's not what Adam wants.
No, absolutely not.
You got to have Jokic. You got to have got to have the experience in there first.
Yep. So we're gonna transition over the East, and I think there's no better video than to play. I don't know if you've seen this yet.
All right, let's see it.
But it was when the Knicks won Game 6. Okay. Right, Game 6. Yeah, when they won Game 6 in Philadelphia.
Okay.
And this video is unbelievable. So I mean, I'm just gonna let the video play itself. I don't know if you've seen it. If anybody's watching this, they've probably seen it before. So we're just gonna let it play itself.
Joel Embiid, take these hands, bitch!
I don't need cheese sticks! Fuck that Philly
Fuck Meek Mill, and fuck Joe Biden. Yo, Philly, you can feel these. When niggas catch you in Philly, we gon' fuck you up. I'll wipe my fucking ass with that. Fucking beat. Smoke some weed. Let's go. Joe and the we sending your ass to China, so get ready to pack up. Yo, let's go talk to the Italian fucking Italian. We are the New York Knicks. Suck on the New York Knicks. Go New York, go New York, go. If I had a sister, I'd let Jalen Brunson and the entire New York Knicks right.
Well, and that's where Zian cuts that off. I did not see that. Who posted that?
Hold on, I gotta play this part again. The freaking little Johnny.
See that he's a 2020 fan.
I gotta play this part again.
Joel Embiid comes in these hands, bitch.
Z, do you think that he knows who was the Knicks point guard in 2006?
So I don't know if I even know. Was it Raymond Felton?
Yeah, Raymond Felton.
Oh my God, that video is unbelievable. I mean, I hope YouTube doesn't report us for that, because that is on the World Wide Web. And if that doesn't describe Knicks fans, I don't know. But getting past that,
I did not see that, but it doesn't surprise me they were like that.
Sending Embiid to China. Oh man. Well, so obviously the Knicks beat Sixers in 6. I picked the Sixers to win. But now the Sixers are going up against the Pacers, which is a great matchup, which is really a great matchup for many reasons. I don't think we need to talk about the Pacers series too much. They beat a depleted Bucks team in the first round. I'm not discrediting that, but under the circumstances, they damn well should have won. So here we are, Knicks versus Pacers. Really intriguing matchup to watch. Jalen Brunson versus Tyrese Halliburton. So it's gonna be quite the series. It's gonna be, I can definitely again see it being a back and forth series. But I mean, another guy we can talk about. We talk about Kyrie, talk about Anthony Edwards, dude. This guy Jalen Brunson, like this guy's literally playing like a Hall of Famer.
Mm-hmm.
Every single game, this guy's putting up 40 something points.
Yeah. Every
time I check his line, it goes up a half a point every single night. 30 and a half, 31 and a half, this, that. And if you just keep taking the over, you're going to keep winning.
He's lights out. Dude, he's freaking lights out. Z, what do you think would be better? You think Brunson staying in Dallas would have been better than Luka and Kyrie, or you think it worked out?
I think it worked out fine.
Yeah.
I think it worked out fine.
Yeah.
I think it was good for Brunson, because Brunson deserves to be a face of a franchise, and that's what he is in New York.
Right.
And I mean, you got to feel good for him, man. You got to feel good for the Knicks franchise.
No, I like watching them. I'm happy for the Knicks, dude. They've been in such and it's crazy. Like, you think of New York and you think of like their sport teams, and you would probably think, like, if you would just talk to a casual person that doesn't really follow sports too much, they would probably think like, okay, New York teams are probably better than more years than not. But that's not the case. That's not the case at all. The Yankees haven't won a World Series since 2009. Do the Yankees buy their team? Yes. But the Yankees have had some bad years. The Mets are a mess. The Knicks have had zero relevancy since the 90s.
Yep.
And even then, they didn't win a title in the 90s. You look at the New York Jets. Z, they had the longest drought since a playoff berth in the NFL. And you look at the New York Giants. They're paying Daniel Jones all his money. And the New York Giants haven't been to the playoffs since 2016. So,
well, that's a lie.
When they made, or what? No. You're right. 1 year since 2016. They've had one playoff berth since 2016. It's off.
I mean, it is. I mean, obviously, I know they're off a franchise. That might be a fact check too. But yeah, continue.
No, they have. They did not make it in 17. They did not make it in 18. They didn't make it in 19. The only playoff berth they have, from my belief, is that 1 year when what was it, a couple years ago or whatever it was.
Yeah, they actually had a pretty decent season.
Yeah, they won 9 games. Congratulations.
Well, then they beat Minnesota in the first round. Okay, we're not going to talk about the Giants.
Yeah, but anyway, Z, the Giants. When you think of the New York Football Giants, you don't think of 2016 and 2021 or 22, and that's about all you're getting. So the Giants have been in a really bad spot more years than not. So with the New York Knicks, this is great to see. This is exciting for the Knicks fans. The Knicks are kind of fun too. They're doing this without Julius Randle.
Mm-hmm.
So I would love to see the Knicks go on a finals run, just because I couldn't even tell you the last time they won a friggin'. They've even sniffed that.
Patrick Ewing days.
Yeah, but even then, at that point, like, so
the freaking Dave, whatever the hell his name is. We played him on the show a couple times. Or the show 2K.
Dave,
because one of the classic teams, they have the Knicks in like the 70s or whatever. Remember?
Right. Yeah, I can't remember. See, they all look the same.
Yeah, yeah.
But really, the point is that this is great for the Knicks. The Knicks, when they beat the Hawks a few years ago, was kind of cool, but they fell short. This team's different. This team's playing without Julius Randle. Crowds behind them, fans are behind them. This could be the year they face the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals. I'd love to see the Knicks go for a finals run. So this is good for them. And this is like, listen, as much as we criticize the NBA product, this is what the freaking NBA needs. This is exactly what the NBA needs. You need the excitement. You need the fans. You need the fresh atmosphere. Not the Warriors, not the Cavs, not the freaking, not the Heat, not the Lakers. Yep. You need a fresh sense of your landscape, almost, of your NBA, of your playoffs. And this year you're getting that. You have a young Thunder team who's finally, after all these years of rebuilding, at the top. A Minnesota Timberwolves team finally at the top. The Knicks finally making a possible run. The Indiana Pacers finally done rebuilding, finally making a push. So it's good for the league. Don't care what these 2020 fans say, or these LeBron fanboys or Curry fanboys. Don't care. Good riddance, your old news. Don't miss you.
Yeah. So no, I agree with everything. I think it's a great thing for the league. I think it's a great thing. It's a great thing. I mean, and I know we're showing a lot of credit to the Knicks. We're not talking too much about the Pacers. I mean, their team speaks for itself. I mean, they also made the play-in tournament final.
Yeah.
Don't forget about that.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. Take it out. Take it out.
Yeah. How's that Lakers in-season tournament accomplishment going?
Yep.
Is anybody talking about that?
Not one person.
They lost in the first round of the playoffs, but they still won the in-season tournament. Yep. How come nobody's talking about it?
Well, next year they'll get a cemented playoff spot.
Yeah. God. Yeah. They'll win 35 games. Oh, you're in.
Yep.
You're the 6th seed.
Yeah. Think about it. The Pistons could have won it this year.
Yep.
And they would have
17 wins, 6th seed.
Yep. Yeah, 6 seed. Well, so, and as much as I want this to be a series, I think it's an intriguing one. I'm not going to say too much about it. I'm going to take Knicks in 5. I'm going to take Knicks in 5. Right. I could be wrong on that. I'm sure maybe we can push 6. But I think the Knicks are just way too in sync right now. Again, like the Pacers, they went against a really depleted. I mean, they went against a starting lineup that had Patrick Beverley in it.
Right.
And
that guy's a joke.
Talk about a hothead.
Yeah, seriously.
Tell the reporter it's he's do his podcast. And then he's throwing a ball at a fan.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like it.
I don't know what's going on. I really don't know. And we've seen some op-eds. You have Ron Artest, Jermaine O'Neal, Rasheed Wallace, right? You got Steven Jackson.
Yep. Draymond.
Draymond Green, Gobert. We've seen them over the years. Freaking Zach Randolph at times.
Yep. Yeah. So I'm not going to sit here and discredit Indiana. I'm definitely not going to. Again, they're a team that is only going to get better, especially with Tyrese Halliburton. But again, I think the Knicks are just too hot. I think right now, you could say I don't want to say the hottest team in the league, but they're hot. They're hot. Jalen Brunson's probably the hottest player in the league.
Yeah.
and the team chemistry they have, even though Josh Hart is not a superstar, even though Dante DiVincenzo is not a superstar, and Hartenstein and all these other boys on there, like they're so in sync. And as long as Jalen Brunson's performing the way he does, they'll be fine. But at the same time, that is a cause for concern, because if he's not playing the way he has, then we don't know. Like, will they win? So
Right.
that'll be key for the Pacers. If they can shut him down, they could be a whole different series. But I'm gonna take the Knicks. I'm gonna take the Knicks to win the series.
I agree. I'm gonna go Knicks in 5 too.
Yeah.
Pacers. Okay. Against Milwaukee. Yes, they didn't have some of their guys. I'm glad Milwaukee lost in the first round. I honestly hope they blow it up. I really do.
Yep.
Doc Rivers is a joke. I don't have much respect for Doc Rivers. But the Pacers, good for them. You had a playoff win, especially with your young core, your young group of guys. It's going to end.
No shame. No shame.
No shame at all. It's going to end against the Knicks, though. So Knicks in 5.
Yeah, and then we're going to move on to our last series, which I'm not going to spend a lot of time on. I'm not.
Yeah.
However, the Cavs did play today, still in the first round. Jesus, and we're already getting into May here.
Yeah. It's exactly why I would love to see the first round go back to best of 5.
Yep. So the first round officially just ended today, Sunday, May 5th.
Yeah.
And the Orlando Magic, unfortunately, did lose Game 7.
At least they took it to 7 games, though.
Yeah. Paulo Banchero absolutely carried the entire franchise on his back the whole series.
Sounds about right.
Again, we're not going to talk about the Magic, but they'll be a team we'll definitely look out for. Again, another team that is super young and will continue to get better.
Built their team through the draft.
I love how their fans have randomly just showed up again.
Yep.
So,
yep. Where have you guys been?
Yeah. So anyway, so the Cavs won. I saw something that this is the first time the Cavs have won a series in 31 years without LeBron.
It's crazy.
Without LeBron, I think it was 31 years.
Yeah.
But
it's going to come to an end.
Yeah, that's good to come to an end. It's good for them to win a series. But obviously, they have a good team. It's not that they don't have a good team. Donovan Mitchell is the head star. Darius Garland, Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, Karis LeVert, Max Strus. So they have a good team.
Yeah.
But they're running into the best team in the league.
Yeah.
And that's the Boston Celtics. And I think anybody still today will say that it's just due time that Boston will win one. And I still do believe this is the year, especially for Jason Tatum. And the thing is with Boston, and as you see in the playoffs, they won one game against Miami. Okay, big deal. But the thing is with Boston is what's different with them compared to Jalen Brunson for the Knicks and Luka and Kyrie for Dallas is there's not one or two guys who are putting up 30, 40 points every single night. I've been watching their games, and you'll have maybe 2 or 3 guys put up in the 20s.
Yeah.
Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Porzingis, Drew Holiday, Al Horford, etc. Derek White. Like, they are so well balanced, and I'm not going to break down their whole roster, but they're just so well balanced and such a perfectly built team that they don't need Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown, their 2 superstars, to be popping off for 35, 40 a night. Will it happen at some point? Yes, it will, because they'll need it at some point in the playoffs. But does it needed every single game? Absolutely not. And that is a beautiful thing about how they play basketball. And just flat out, the Cavs are just straight up unmatched, 100% unmatched in this series. So I'll give the Cavs a game or two. I'll say 6. I'll say 6.
That's what I was thinking.
I'll say Boston wins it in 6. I'll give a little credit to the Mavs, or to the Cavs, because like I said, they're still a solid team. But the Boston is the top dogs of the league, and I don't see them getting taken out by a Cleveland Cavaliers team.
Z, what's the if the Celtics lose in the playoffs this year? What's it come next year? What happens?
Conversation I'll save for another time. Send
well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll save this video. We'll save this video. Z said it's their year. We'll save the video.
Yep.
So that's kind of how I felt about the Clippers, not them winning a championship, but them actually making a run in these playoffs, and it's just never going to happen. I don't care what anybody says. It's never going to happen.
No.
Kawhi just staring at the scoreboard on the bench. Again, Z just already had his tickets ready for the cruise.
Yeah, he did.
And was just sitting there waiting for them to lose the series.
Yep. And straight to Cancun, and he couldn't
straight
be
to
about it.
Cancun. So I know that he's having a great time. So Paul George, I'm going to say leaves, and Russell Westbrook, I think it's just time to retire. And James Harden, he'll be on his 8th team. So, but yeah, I'm going Celtics in 6 as well. So we'll be looking at a Celtics-Knicks Eastern Conference Finals. We'll be looking at at least in my eyes, a Timberwolves Thunder Western, in Z's eyes, a Denver Dallas Western Conference Final. So we'll see. But the NBA playoffs, at least the good thing they have going for them, is the fresh matchups, some enticing matchups, and their players that they're relying on to be their superstars for the next 10 years. A lot of them are in it. So Victor Wembanyama, maybe in a couple years, he'll be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But you look at like Embiid's out, but Z, did you see that video on Twitter of like Embiid like on the court for warmups and he's like leaning into the security guard?
I know.
Did you see that? And then like the Sixers staff is like getting mad at him.
Yep.
It's like, dude, the guy's off the court standing there.
Yeah.
Embiid's freaking leaning into the guy. Joke.
And you're yelling at an usher for doing his job.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Sixer staff joke. Embiid joke.
Yep. Don't care about that franchise. And honestly, I wasn't even so much like upset at Embiid in the video. I was more just like I more got upset towards the freaking guy who like the Sixers staff member who came over and was like yelling at the guy. I wish someone would have slapped him.
Yeah, he definitely deserved to be slapped. You know, Z, that guy thinks everybody knows him.
Yep.
Everybody knows him. Yep. That he has such a high relevant role. Like, dude, you're rebounding for a player on a basketball court. Congratulations.
How was it playing with Julius Erving? One person remembers you.
I don't even think he ever even played.
I don't think so either.
I think he's just a ball boy.
Yeah.
Honestly. But we'll see how these come to fruition as we get past the second round. Z and I doing a round by round NBA playoff podcast here. So we'll see what happens in the next 2 months when the second round ends.
Yeah. So pretty well-timed video there in about 53 minutes.
So your thoughts on the second round end in July?
Yeah. And we might be on pace for it. That's what I'm saying. Like
NBA finals are in September and the season starts in October.
Yeah. Well, don't forget about the Olympics.
Yep.
God, some of these players are going to end the playoffs and then they're going to go straight over to freaking Paris.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's freaking crazy.
Well, appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Appreciate you guys too. And that was a pretty good video we had there. So, if you guys like us kind of getting videos in here and highlights and pictures and all that stuff, maybe let us know. Because I think it adds a bit more, entertainment value to it. So, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoy your week coming up. Today's Sunday, so like I said, you'll probably see this beginning of the week. So enjoy your guys'
we'll
week.
See how these NBA playoffs go. Z and I will be back. We'll see what we're going to be talking about next, but round by round NBA playoff talk here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for your support. Hit the thumbs up.
Yep.
Hit the subscribe.
And Ann will be breaking in that toy in that new apartment.
Already have. So it's a little low to the ground, Z. It's a little low to the floor.
God.
Yeah, no, it's actually a little bit like it's kind of a low set one.
How many people do you think I'm sat on that?
Well, considering I don't know. I think before us there were 2, and I'd say probably over 20.
Enjoy that bacteria.
Yep. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it for Z and I. We're going to head out of here. So thank you guys for your support. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. And
fooey.
Make sure you let everybody, you hide your bird food because he's coming for it.